If you don't like woke game companies, things are not looking good for Grand Theft Auto 6 right now, as Rockstar seemingly has some DEI practices involved, and we can expect this kind of ideology to likely seep into the game itself. So let's go ahead and dive into this article and talk about what's going on here. So this comes to us from That Park Place. They said, is GTA 6 woke? DEI employee certifications highlight the quiet shift threatening Rockstar. Look, I didn't expect anything less than for GTA 6 to be woke. I'm going to be honest. I did not for a second think that GTA 6 was going to be unaffected by woke ideology. Hopefully, they prove me wrong, but I don't think that's going to be the case. All right, so we have here, it says, is there any other video game in the world more anticipated right now than Grand Theft Auto 6? No, there isn't. GTA 5 was released in 2013. It sold a ton of copies. All right, so the shift in protagonists. Now, yeah, we do have the dual protagonist here. I mean, GTA 5 had multiple playable protagonists that you could play through. I mean, you had that main dude, that dad guy, and then you had Trevor. You did have multiple, I mean, this is common, but in this case, we do see, and I know when you see a female character as a protagonist character and a playable character these days, it does make you question, is this going to be woke? Now, used to, that wasn't the case. Used to, a bunch of games used to make great female lead characters, like classic Lara Croft, for example. But in the current climate of things, with the woke ideology that has infested the gaming space, we have seen a huge nerf in female characters. They're usually uglified if they're existing characters, or if they're new characters as well. They're uglified because they try to make them more for the Troon eyes, to make transgender more normalized, even though it's not a normal thing. So we have that, and we also just have not good writing with their characters. I will say, with their female lead here, I think she's pretty, and I think that she does seem fitting for the setting. So I'm not going to immediately say it's going to be woke just for that reason alone. But let's go ahead and continue. While every previous entry featured male protagonist, GTA 6 will include both a female and male lead. Why am I, correct me if I'm wrong, the super GTA fans, because like I played GTA 5 and that's it. So I thought there was technically a female protagonist in like the PS1, whatever, that really old school, the first GTA, or like the really old school one. I thought there was a playable female character for like a portion of it. I could be completely wrong and remembering it incorrectly. If that's the case, let me know in the comments. So anyway, it includes both a female and a male lead. It looks like they're a couple, dual protagonist setup. All right, so to be clear, criticizing the name solely on it, including a female protagonist, isn't valid yet. So they agree with me that it's not alone a valid argument. So from Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2 to the chaotic yet compelling trio of Trevor, Michael, and Franklin in GTA 5, Rockstar has consistently excelled at crafting characters that resonate with players. Yes, they actually did well. Even in Red Dead Redemption 2, Sadie Adler was really cool. So they do know how to make cool female characters as well, I will say. So let's go ahead and find more. Okay, so there's the changing landscape. We've got the departure of Key Creative. So in 2023, Michael Unsworth, another veteran writer and key creative behind GTA 4, GTA 5, and Red Dead Redemption 2, also left the company. Why did these departures happen? Okay, so Dan Houser also left. These departures happen. What's going on at Rockstar? To this day, no one really knows. Houser, notoriously private and media shy, has remained silent on the matter. And Unsworth's exit only adds to the uncertainty. Okay, so we have people who left. Some big names. Let's go ahead and continue. So the changing landscape of beloved franchises. Yes, we've seen this happen time and time again. female Mary Sue characters. You have with this Star Wars Outlaws, just overall ugly art style in general. And then you have the main character who they hired a beautiful model to model the character after, and then they made her ugly in the game. So there's that. So just very boring, very unforgettable, doesn't stand out. If you really want to make a good character, they have to stand out. They have to be striking in some sort of way. Being an attractive character helps, but if you even want to make a main character who's not inherently super attractive, you can at least make them very interesting and you can make them striking. In this case, we did not get that. So, well, Last of Us 2 backlash, I mean, that's when things really started. So signs of a changing Rockstar. One notable example of Rockstar's shift came in 2022 when they censored content in Grand Theft Auto 5 Expanded Enhanced Edition. Yep, I covered this too. They took away, there was like a Troon action figure that had a attachable and detachable member, let's just say that. And I mean, obviously Grand Theft Auto, it's known for being very crude in its humor, so they took that out. So that already was like, oh, okay, that's trying to appease the Troons. They took that out, and I believe there were like some posters or something as well. So it removed elements that allegedly maligned individuals who identify with a gender that is different from their anatomy. The Troon stuff. These changes included removal of certain caricature NPC and in-game props, such as signage. Yeah, they had drag queens in there as well. I don't remember if they removed them altogether or what they did with that. It's been a couple years since I covered it. So dialogue perceived as mocking toward the rainbow community were also edited out. Because of course. That's the thing, is Rockstar was pretty edgy with their games. And it was like, I remember in GTA 5, it was like, okay, it doesn't matter who they offend. They're just going all out. Like they're offending everybody, you know? That was part of, it's kind of similar to South Park. And, you know, there's certain things in South Park and stuff I don't like. But the thing about South Park is that they're not afraid to offend anybody. And I can respect that a lot more than people bowing to, like, here, the Rainbow Mob in this case. It's like, don't pretend to be edgy if you're bowing down to the Rainbow Mob, which is insane. Literally mentally ill people who are acting in abomination, who need Jesus and need to repent, and telling them this would improve the quality of their lives, but we're the bad guys for saying that. And we're called haters for saying that, even though we want to see people do better with their life. Make it make sense. Okay, so while some changes were necessary to modernize the game, others saw it as a troubling sign of self-censorship. I don't think the censorship needed to happen at all. I don't know what other changes. Yeah. They argue that it needs to modernize. You don't need to modernize. A game that is great does not need modernized. It will stand the test of time. And here's the thing, humanity doesn't change that much. There is nothing new under the sun. So it's like, you don't have to modernize things. If something is great, it will still be great and it will stand the test of time. All right, so let's go ahead and see what's going on with this DEI stuff. So there's quite a few alarming factors at play for anyone wondering, is GTA 6 woke? Yet the gravest and perhaps most damaging revelation about Rockstar isn't found in its content edits or the departure of senior staff, but in what can be uncovered about those who now work there. That is, dude, just look at Dragon Age the Veilguard. They hired a bunch of Troons and they inserted all that Troon ideology into the game like thick. And it failed as a result, right? A troubling pattern emerges when examining the certifications held by Rockstar employees, particularly among senior members. At least 60 employees have completed a course called Unconscious Bias, which many of these certifications being awarded between 2020 and 2021, the same period during which Dan Houser left the company. Interesting. Dude, how are you going to work on a Grand Theft Auto game and you have to have a DEI training thing? unconscious bias training? Seriously? Wow. So what is this course? The unconscious bias certification, as described on platforms like LinkedIn Learning, aims to teach participants to recognize and address unconscious prejudices that they may hold. While its stated goal is to foster inclusivity and fairness in workplaces, the course has been widely criticized for its potential divisive nature. The training focuses heavily on racial and gender dynamics, framing biases as something that predominantly privileged groups, such as white employees, because of course, need to address. This can create an environment where some individuals feel unfairly singled out based solely on their identity. Bro, this is crazy. Here's my thing about this is if you're working in an office environment and you have a lot of coworkers and all this kind of stuff, then just don't be a jerk and don't be a creep. Like, that applies to everyone. So instead of having to go through all this training and stuff, it's just like, hey, just be a chill person. Don't make gross jokes to people or talk gross to people that aren't your friend, especially like in the workplace, dude. I would avoid that altogether in the workplace. You're just asking for trouble. Don't be gross, don't be weird, and don't be a jerk. It's not hard. Again, this applies to everybody. You don't have to take a class and have to single out people's genders and ethnicities for that. Critics of such courses argue that they perpetuate the very biases they claim to dismantle. For example, the unconscious bias training often emphasizes systemic racism, of course, and privilege in ways that risk oversimplifying complex social issues. Here's the thing is these companies will have a risk. They always are going to be at risk of somebody suing over, if someone was racist or someone said this or that, They're always going to have that risk there. So just tell people in general. And I mean, this should apply to don't be racist to white people. But the thing is like, just don't be a jerk. Just don't be a jerk. So, and that's the thing is with all these microaggressions and these things that they make up, it's like someone can call you a racist when you don't even do anything racist because they make up something that is now called a microaggression. So the thing is like, you just don't hire these. I wouldn't hire these woke activists in general because your woke activists are a liability. They may sue your company. That's just that. They don't care about what they're making. They care more about their ideology, and they very well may sue your company. So it's just not smart as a business to hire woke people, regardless of what their race is and gender and all that. Just don't. Especially like someone who identifies in the alphabet community and is just outly identifies in that. I wouldn't hire them, period. Because that is a risk in your company. Whatever somebody does in their private life, hey, if I'm hiring them to make a game, that's none of my business, but they need to keep that way. But yeah, people who are openly in these activist groups and trying to be activists for all this stuff, all this woke demonic stuff, no. You are a risk for the company. You are a liability. So they're alienating employees by assigning collective guilt or blame. Unconscious bias. So why was such a course implemented widely around the same time key creative minds like Dan Houser and Leslie Benzies left? Furthermore, why does this training appear to be disproportionately targeted at white employees? If the goal was true equality and inclusivity, why adopt an approach that inherently divides rather than unites? Exactly. Like, dude, if you're actually having issues and you're having people go to HR because people aren't being nice in general, or if people are being mean or gross, then if you need a course for your employees to take, give a course that is just overall, hey, don't be a jerk. Don't be gross. Don't be a jerk. Not, if you're white, let's all walk on eggshells for everybody else. Like, that's not the answer. Because then what about the white people? What about the white people who feel discriminated against? Like, that's messed up. So, the author here says, I must say that the skepticism and perhaps even paranoia that gamers feel when asking is GTA 6 woke is not entirely unfounded. There are clear signs that suggest a shift has occurred at Rockstar, and not necessarily for the better. These signs point to a company whose focus may now be shifting toward the so-called modern audience, a demographic that, despite being constantly invoked by corporations, often seems ill-defined or non-existent. Yeah, so I mean, whether or not this, it's not substantial enough to say, yeah, for sure, GTA 6 is going to be woke. For sure, GTA 6 is going to be some DEI trash or some like Dragon Age Veilguard or whatever else that's failed lately. We don't know that. We haven't seen enough in the actual game to come to that conclusion. But we do have reason to be cautious and skeptical and keep an eye out on what's going on. You would think they would be smart enough to see how some of these big titles have failed and to not make the same mistake, because a game like GTA 6 has such a massive budget and is so highly anticipated that you can't mess this one up, man. So this could be printed money for them if they do it right. It could be just easy money. Don't heck it up, bro. Don't heck it up. All right, so anyway, there you have it for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And as always, if you want me to read the Bible to you, you can check out my Bible channel at Bible Time with Melanie Mack. Thank you all again. I'll catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.